Morning, students. Today we are going to continue with our revision test only, revision test 3, that is history lesson number 1. So you can start your test in your notebooks. You can start writing the answers. These 5 are there. 3 are very short, means 3 are short questions, and 4 and 5th is little bit long. So you can write it down, and after few minutes we are going to discuss these questions and the extra questions also. I hope everybody is doing the test.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, now we should start discussing the questions first. First question is explain the turmoil in France while the National Assembly was busy at Versailles. So you have to explain the turmoil. Turmoil means the disturbances in the France when the National Assembly was busy at Versailles. Yes, Gunjan?
Ma'am, when the National Assembly was busy drafting a constitution that will limit the power of the monarch, the following problems occurred to rest of the France.
Yes.
First, there was substances crisis. This usually happens in winter when the people's basic needs are endangered. The harvest was less, and as the bread was staple diet of people of French, people were starving. Due to this reason, the shopkeepers hoarded the supplies of grain, took double prices, and women were storming, standing in the line. The riots were common in these situations.
Yes, good. So, mostly 3 points we are going to write down this. The turmoil in France while National Assembly was busy at Versailles, busy at what doing? Versailles at drafting the constitution. So, first is that because of the severe winter, bad harvest was there and rising in the price of bread and situation was exploiting by the bakers and who did supplies that as Gunjan has said just now. Then next we can see that army was ordered by the king to move into the city, and rumors spread that the army would be ordered to open fire on the citizens. So this was also the condition at that time that thousands of agitation people gathered and decided to form a militia. Then next, one more point can be that they destroyed the prison of Versailles in 14th July 1789. Number of governments building in search of arms and outbroken. Clear? So these 3 points. First is about the severe winter, bad harvest, and rising prices of the bread. Then hoarding of the supplies and all. Then second point we are going to write down about the army was ordered by the king to move into the city, and rumors were spread that the open fire will be there on the citizens. Then the third point that uh, the people broke into number of government buildings in search of arms and all, and that was still present. That situation was there. Clear? Next is what was the tennis court oath? Yes, Gunjan, tennis court oath.
Ma'am, yes, ma'am, when the estate general had called the meeting, the third state, the women and artists were not allowed to come in the meeting. The third state was made to stand behind, while first and second state were made set in front. This hurted the third state, and they moved out of the assembly in very aggressive manner in the tennis court. They were led by the Mirabeau and ABCAs. They were many in number, so they felt the spokesmen of the whole country. They swore not to disperse until they had created the constitution which would limit the power of monarch. This oath is commonly known as tennis court oath.
Yes, good. Full answer correctly given. That this oath was called as that they swore not to disperse until they had drafted the constitution, which would limit the powers of the monarch. And this was they had made a sword and thus help in awakening of the French people to revolt against the oppression by the privileged classes and ultimately led to the French Revolution. So this was the tennis court oath. Then write short note on Marseilles. Yes, yes, give the answer. Marseilles.
Marseilles, Marseilles is the national anthem of France. When the people were going to Paris for the secret war that had done by the Louis XVI, they had sung this as a motivational song in the Marseilles, and so the name was taken from that place, Marseilles. It was written by Robert de Leslie.
Yes. So Marseilles national anthem of France and written by Roger D. L. Isel during the French Revolution. And it was first sung in Paris when the Marseillais battalion sang it as they marched into the Paris, and thus it was named so. Then, how did the storming of Bastille become the main cause of the French Revolution? Yes.
On 14 July 1789, the king sent the troops outside the city. There were rumors that the king would soon order the troops to open fire upon the citizens. Men and women were very afraid, and they decided to form the militia to protect themselves and attack the government buildings in search of weapons. But the weapons were not enough to provoke their needs, so they attacked the Bastille. It was the despotic power of the king. Many people hated it. They had killed the leader, they had killed the police officer, and had set out the seven jailers free. And afterwards, they had destroyed the Bastille, and the fragments of Bastille were sent or were collected. And this, however, many historians believe that this was the first event, and after this, the chain of events took place named as French Revolution.
Hmm. Yes. How did storming of Bastille line became the main cause of the French Revolution? First is while the National Assembly was busy at Versailles drafting the constitution, the rest of the France was faced with the turmoil. That is much disturbances were there, and due to the bad harvest, price also of the bread increased. Then second, the situation worsened when bakers started holding the supplies, and then women stood in queues and bakeries stormed the shops and all. At the time, the king had ordered the troops, and this all was the main cause for the French Revolution. Clear? Then next is philosophers influence the thinking of the people of the France. Yes, give the answer.
Philosophers influenced the thinking of the people of France as they gave the idea of as they gave the idea to people about the equality and freedom. Their ideas were their ideas were discussed in coffee shops, at barbers, and at many places. According to Roscoe, the third state had demanded in the estate general meeting one man and one vote, but this request was rejected by the Louis XVI and that tennis court oath event took place.
Yes. In this, you can also write down about the different philosophers that John Locke and Jean-Jacques Rousseau put forward the ideas of society based on freedom and equality, as you have already said, and then two treaties of government. John Locke sought to refute the doctrine of divine and absolute rights of monarch. So John Locke had given in two treaties of government. The book was two treaties of government. Then Rousseau also based on the social contract between people and their representatives. Rousseau's ideas were also based on that. Then Spirit of Laws. Spirit of Laws was written by Montesquieu.
Montesquieu.
Yes, it proposed the division of power. Montesquieu proposed the division of power within the government and between legislative, executive, and judiciary. So Montesquieu was in favor of division of power within the government between legislative, executive, and judiciary, and it was given in the Spirit of Laws by Montesquieu. Then, as you have already made a note over there, that philosophers were discussed intensively in saloons, coffee houses, and that point also can be included. Clear? So hope all the answers are clear. Then very short,
Yes, ma'am.
we can, in very short, we can include define Chattox. Chattox is a castle.
It is.
Yeah,
Uh,
Chattox is a castle or stately residence, and it belonged to whom? King and
Louis XVI.
king and nobleman. Chattox is a castle or stately residence belonging to king or nobleman. And next we can, who is Abysses? Abysses,
He was the leader of the tennis court oath. He belonged to first state who had written that pamphlet, The Third Estate.
yes, Abysses was originally we can say he was a priest and he wrote influential pamphlet named What is the Third Estate? So he was a priest. And then Mirabeau,
He
he,
was also the third estate.
yes,
He was also the first state part, and he led the tennis court oath.
yes, belonged to noble family. Abysses belonged to priest, originally was priest, and Mirabeau belonged to the noble family, and he convinced with the need to do away with the society of feudal privileges and led the representative of the third estate. Then we can say Saint Clotos. Who was Saint Clotos?
They were the knee breeches. They wore the knee breeches to
Uh,
show the strike,
mm,
to show the
the
moment.
Jacobins came to be known as Saint Clotos, and which literally means this word literally means without knee breeches. Saint Clotos literally mean without knee breeches. Then we can say about who wrote the Spirit of Laws?
Montesquieu.
Montesquieu. And what is Tith? Tith?
It was the direct text
Yes.
that was lived
Levied
by
by
the
church.
first state,
Uh,
church and clergies.
Tith was the tax levied by the church, and it comprised of 1/10 of agricultural production. And then we come to why was Bastille prison attacked?
In order to search the weapons to defend the people, to defend themselves, the people attacked the Bastille.
Yes, it was attacked the Bastille prison with the hope to find hoarded ammunition for revolution. वो ढूंढ रहे थे ना कि कुछ उनको मिल जाए जिससे वो फाइट कर सकें, रिवोल्ट कर सके वापस से. So the revolutionaries
Hmm.
attacked the Bastille prison with the hope to find hoarded ammunition for revolution. Then what was directory?
What was?
Directory.
It was the government of five people that ruled after the Jean-Jacques Rousseau.
Directory was an executive body of 5 members. Yes, it was an executive body of 5 members, and it was appointed by two elected legislative councils. Clear? And
Yes, ma'am.
treason, treason, treason means betrayal of one's country or government. धोखा
One's
देना,
country.
धोखा देना अपनी खुद की कंट्री से या गवर्नमेंट की से धोखा करना. हाँ. So next, now this completes our history revision. Next, I am thinking of giving you revision of geography lesson number 5, natural vegetation and wildlife.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Hmm.
and next class is I think tomorrow only in school it is. So natural vegetation and wildlife we are going to discuss in the uh, class, and then I'm going to give you like this only few questions to do it. Okay. Any doubt?
Okay, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Nishika, Nishika, any doubt?
No,
Okay,
ma'am.
fine.
No, ma'am.
Okay, then you can learn the answers of geography for the next revision test fourth, that will be concerning of geography lesson number 5. Okay,
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
okay. Then once again write down present in the chat box.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, bye. Take care.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a nice day, ma'am.
Oh, same to you.